Hello. Do you want to play a game?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Um, I am bringing you this video with some very sad news. I didn't want to make this video, but I have to make it, and it is very, very sad. Psych, I'm just kidding. There's absolutely nothing sad about this video. Um, I'm sure most of you guys have probably already seen a lot of videos on this. This has certainly blew up all over YouTube and the internet, and it was a fresh and fit podcast that they did, and there's a host of gentlemen up there. Most notably, this particular video is about a man by the name of Wes Watson and Andrew Wilson. Now, before I get into this video, let me just let you know that I'm very familiar with Wes Watson. I actually came across Wes Watson during the pandemic when we were on lockdown. If you guys remember, everything was closed, so you really couldn't go anywhere. And this is really when Wes Watson's channel really blew up, where everyone was stuck in the house. You couldn't go to the gym. You couldn't go to clubs. You couldn't go basically anywhere. The only place you could really go was to the gas station and like Walmart's or a drive-through um, fast food place, but you really couldn't go anywhere. So people were pretty much confined to their homes, confined to the internet. And that's when you've seen a lot of the stock market craze going on with memes, AMC, GameStop, etc., etc. Anyway, this is when his channel really blew up. And I used to watch his channel because he said a lot of positive stuff. He was really motivating. Um, and for whatever reason, people like to hear stories about prison. I think it's because most people don't go, so they're just fascinated to hear stories. And plus, movies have just really made prison out to be something that it's really not. There's a lot of embellishment when it comes to prison and things that go on in prison. And we all know prison isn't a place where you want to be, but it's just been so it's been so embellished in certain areas of prison life that people are just fascinated like with it. So anyway, Wes's channel blew up. I'm very familiar with him. This is not my first time hearing Wes Watkins or Watson or being exposed to him. I watched his channel during the pandemic. I watched it go from very little subscribers to hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Again, he was a guy that was marketing himself. He told a lot of stories about prison, gang stories. He was a guy that lift weights. So he was someone that a lot of men identify with, and mainly because I suspect they wanted to be him in a lot of different ways, especially certainly when it comes to fitness. And like I said, he was motivational. He would say a lot of stuff that will motivate people. So I'm no stranger to Wes Watson. I don't know why I want to keep calling this guy Wes Watkins. I'm no stranger to him. I'm no stranger to the allure of him. I had my dose back then. Now I don't watch or even listen to anything Wes has to say nowadays, and I'm really going to tell you why. But before I tell you that, let's get into this video. And what had the internet going crazy is that all these men up here are going to define what they think success is. So Fresh asks the questions, what's your definition of success? And they kind of start from the far left to the guy with the bracelet on, or not the bracelet, the big rope necklace around him with the look like his initials FG, if I'm not mistaken. So each of these guys give their definition on what being a successful individual is. And it's not until he gets to Wes Watson, which he's dressed in all white, that this thing kind of goes off the rails. So he goes, and then Andrew, who was sitting next to Fit, he chimes in, and their definition of what's successful and what's not is completely different. They have two completely different ideals of what is success and what is not success. And this is where they clash, and this is what's been going on all over the internet. This is what's been blowing up from this particular podcast that was done. So let me play this video and then I'll come back. I'll give you my thoughts that I'm saving about Wes because I want you guys to see this video. So let's check it out.
How do you define success? And we'll start with Biame Kevo.
How did I find success?
How do you define success? What does that mean for you?
Success is, being free, being able to do what I want to do every day when I wake up.
Mm-hmm. For you?
Yeah, same thing. Being able to do what you want, when you want, and with whom you want, whenever you want to do it. Because a lot of people don't have that level of freedom in the world. So I agree 100%.
Yaros?
To be honest, it's working in what you love, because you got to wake up and love your life. You just create that, that life you just want to live every day. You don't want to stop, Sometimes I don't want to sleep and I want to wake up earlier just because I live the life I want to live. I also with my wife, like I'm married but not trapped. It's not like I hide shit. It's everything is up front. Like I don't hide anything and I show everything.
So far, so good. I haven't heard anything too ridiculous. One person said freedom. Yeah, I think, and I assume he's equating this to financial freedom, where you can wake up, do whatever you want. You don't have to punch a clock. You don't have a boss that you're answering to. This last guy mentioning family and doing what you love. I like that. The first guy, I don't even remember what he said. Something in the vein of what the other guy said about being able to set your own schedule. So after this guy is going to be Wes. So let's get back to it.
Blessed man.
Okay. And my definition of success is across the board. If you're not ripped, if you're not rich, if you ain't rare, if you don't stand out, if you ain't across the board successful, it doesn't mean fucking shit to me. If you got straight tits and you're in your Rolls Royce, you look like a fucking clown to me. I'm just laughing at your dumb fucking ass. But this is the whole fucking point.
So you can already see that he is very different from the first three individuals that spoke. The first three individuals that spoke, they spoke with humility. They were kind of a medium monotone. No one was too loud, no one was too low. They said some pretty tangible things that a logical person can probably hear and say, okay, that can be a element of success. Not the pinnacle of success, but it can be an element. And then it got to Wes, and the complete energy and the atmosphere in the room changed. He's not speaking professionally. You can see that. His demeanor is not like the first three guys. You can see that. And he's kind of very in your face and insulting. Now, I'm sure this was a shock for a lot of people. But if you're familiar with Wes Watson, then this is what you would expect from him. This is how he speaks on his own channel. So to hear him say these things in this particular manner was not shocking to me. But what did shock me is the things he was saying. And I'm going to let you know why. Let's get back to the video.
You have a weakness. Change it, motherfucker. How the fuck are you going to lead people if you don't realize your weakness is their way out? They're not going to listen to you. You're sitting there possessing shit that they don't want to have. So, this is what people say. Oh, it's not about the money. It's about family, Wes. It's about this, about that. Motherfucker, when you're making money, it's about the money. When it's family, it's about family. When you're at the gym, it's about muscle. Whatever you're doing, it's about that. There's no black and white life. It's the gray area. You have to be good at everything. That's the goal, to really excel in every area. I roll in most rooms with successful entrepreneurs.
I'm going to really break this down, what he's saying, but I just wanted to chime in for a second. There's no one that's good at everything. If your measuring stick for success is being good at everything, then there's no one that's successful. You cannot be good at everything. People are not perfect. And I'm not saying that as some cop-out. What I'm telling you is, in reality, there's always going to be something that you excel at, and there's going to be things that you don't excel at. That's just called life. That's just called being a human being. That's what's called being in this flesh suit. We have limitations. All of us have limitations. Even Elon Musk, who's considered by many to be a genius, he has limitations. Jeff Bezos has limitations. Bill Gates has limitations. Steve Jobs, when he was alive, has limitations. Tim Cook has limitations. Anybody that you can think of who you would consider success in your mind has limitations. There's no one that excels at everything they do. It is just mathematically impossible.
And it's pathetic. They'll have like a before and after picture of their fitness shit, and their after picture looks like their before pic. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're not embarrassed of this shit? Like, you have enough money and that's what you put out. You're that big of a pussy. Like, I just can't get behind anything that's not done at a high level. So knock the one thing off the board first, then the next thing, then the next thing. Jados is ripped, rich, and rare. I mean, the whole thing, what's rare mean to me? It means no vices. It means no drugs, no alcohol, no bullshit.
All right. So Wes says, work on your weaknesses until they're no longer weaknesses. So the opposite of weakness is a strength. So work on your weaknesses until they become strengths. So once you knock down one, then you move to the next, then you move to the next. But you don't move to the next until that weakness has become a strength. Well, for most people, if you went about your life that way, you would never progress in life. Because as I said, people have things they excel at. People have things that they don't do so well. So in order for me to progress, if I have to make something that I'm weak in a strength, you could spend your whole life, guys, trying to make something you're weak in a strength. So that means, according to Wes, you would never be able to move to something else. Why would I dedicate my life on trying to work on one weakness when I got 8 strengths? I would continue to excel in the things that I do well and then just work on the things where I'm weak in. But I would not tell anyone until that weakness became a strength, you don't move on to something else. Guys, life is not black and white like that. You're going to have things you excel at. You're going to have things that you're weak at. Oh, and then Wes says, be rare. And he says, to me, being rare is a person without vices. Well, this is just impossible because men have vices. My vice may not be your vice. Your vice may not be somebody else's. Let me let you know, guys, vices are not just drugs and alcohol. There's a lot of other things that can be a vice, such as gambling, such as smoking, such as drinking, such as pornography, such as pride, which Wes has a whole lot of. There are vices that are tangible that you can touch, and there's vices that you can't put your hands on, but you can see them, like greed. Greed is a vice. Jealousy can be a vice. Envy, these things are vices. You just can't put your hands on them.
You don't have to hide behind nothing. I mean, what's rich? I mean, you get to do what the fuck you want. I don't need you to be a billionaire to say you're rich, or other people, they'll see that even I rent my place. It's $95,000 a month. But they're like, you rent your place. It's like, you dumb motherfucker. You don't understand how to even operate at my level. People don't buy a $24 million house. They buy 24.
Guys, let me tell you something. I said this before in a lot of other videos I made, and I'm going to reiterate it. The way you present yourself says a lot about yourself. You can tell a lot about a person, and you say a lot about yourself simply by the way you present yourself. Before you even open your mouth, the way you present yourself, people are already forming an opinion about you. They already know something about you before you even open your mouth and say anything. By the way you dress, by the way you carry yourself, by the way you walk, by the way you look. They are already forming an opinion about you before you even open your mouth. This is why you dress a certain way when you're going for a job interview. Because before you open your mouth, they are forming an opinion about you on how you present yourself, your presentation. You only get one chance, one, to make a first impression. And if you don't make a good first impression, 9 times out of 10, there will be no second chance. Wes says he pays $95,000 a month for the house he lives in. That lets you know a lot about him as a person already. you can already start to formulate an opinion about a person who spends $95,000 a month on a home and it's only 3 people living in it. What does that tell you about someone who would spend $95,000 a month to live in a home when there's only 3 people? You can already start to formulate certain things. You can already start to come to certain conclusions. If you really want to know something about a person, observe how they spend their time, observe how they spend their money. And that'll tell you a lot about that person without them even telling you a lot about themselves.
$4 million worth of properties that would bring them more money. You don't dump all that into that fucking liability and live in some $24 million pad you bought, stupid. You fucking make investments and you bring it back to this. But everybody thinks they know some shit. And if you don't have the results that I want in some area, I can't fucking listen to you. So most people, I won't listen to them. What are they going to tell me? Some motherfucker comes up to me at the gym and he's like, hey, you should do your push-ups like this. And I say, why? So I can look like you, motherfucker? And the guy's like, oh, no, but like, it looks like you're going to hurt your... Shut the fuck up, dude. I'm end up with your chest if I do that shit. Why would I want that? Or these motherfuckers...
Guys, let me apologize for the language, but this is how Wes talks. I was thinking about, before I did this video, I was thinking about just kind of skipping to the part between when it starts to get heated between Wes and Andrew, which is coming up shortly, by the way. But I understand there might be some people that's not too familiar with Wes Watson. They may never watch this video. They may have never heard of him. So I had to show the contrast between the different ideologies of what success means. So you heard the definition of success from the first 3 men, and now you hear from Wes, and then you're going to hear it from Andrew. So in order for me to properly break this video down, I wanted you guys to get a clear picture of who he is as an individual.
Fuckers go in my comments and I'll say some shit on purpose. I'm like, rent or buy. And if you ain't at the level to even do either of these, shut the fuck up and don't even participate. And they just get mad. It's like, you don't get to have an opinion if it's not an option for you. You don't get to say my chick's BBL and her fake tits aren't for you. You couldn't get her, you dumb motherfucker. You got a goddamn 3. And that's the worst thing about these motherfuckers. They try to give you relationship advice. Motherfucker, you got a borderline Miami.
All right, guys, I'm probably going to move this forward a little bit because Wes is kind of just going off on a tangent. But I really just want you to understand the topics and the things that he's bringing up as being the epitome of success. So we got the money aspect of it. We got being ripped aspect of it. We got driving around in a fancy car, which he's going to go into further, by the way. You know what? I'm going to let it play. I want you to hear all of it before I go in on what I think about this video.
2. That's like a fucking Mississippi 6. Like, what the fuck you talking about? Don't give me relationship advice to my 10 when you got a 2, motherfucker. Shut up. But this whole thing. People don't think I'm going to put the measuring stick to their motherfucking face. They better just watch what they say around a motherfucker who's beating them in every area. And if someone is beating you, just ask them. Just be humble. Like, your bitch is better than mine. How'd you get her? That car's way more than mine. How'd you do it? You make more than me. What's up? Like, just fucking ask. And that's the thing. People aren't humble enough to ask. That's my shit. It's got to be across the board. You better have a bad bitch. You better be ripped. You better fucking be rolling some sick shit. That's what I like. I grew up hustling. There has to be rims on my goddamn Phantom. Go out front. That ain't normal Phantom. That's a Mansory Phantom. I don't have the normal shit. Fuck that. Chick's got upgrades. Done.
Well said, Wes. God damn, with the fire. Shit.
I've been watching Goldie's content. That's the reason. I've been watching Goldie's content. He be getting me in trouble. My chick don't like his content. She's like, he's making too much sense.
Shout out to Goldie. All right, what about you?
Supposed to follow that up?
It's tough, right?
Get him.
It's tough.
Well, hey, what you guys were saying earlier, I need to know what the fuck you said in English.
Okay, so my definition of success will probably be far different than everybody else's on the panel. I'll probably maybe be the lone dissenter, but my definition of success is having a family, having children, and being part of the apparatus of the world. And true wealth is a rejection of materialism. As Christ said himself, what good does it benefit a man to gain the entire world at the cost of his soul. And essentially, when I think of wealth, I think of materialism. It's okay to have materialism. It's not against Christian ethics to become rich, become wealthy. But I just think it's all beside the point, ultimately. You're trying to go for a single thing, and it's to achieve something greater
You have
than
money.
the person.
Does he have money?
No.
Do you have money?
No, I don't have.
How much
I don't
money do
have.
you have?
I don't
Does he
have
have
money. But here's the thing. Why is money
much-
valuable?
Do you have
Why?
money?
What is money valuable for?
I'm just asking. Do you have money?
I just said no. I'm broke. I'm a nobody.
No, but really, you are?
Yeah.
Is he really broke?
Yeah.
I just want to know. I have to know.
No, I'm not.
stroller.
I'm not one of these rich guys. I don't have a Bugatti. I don't have a Lambo. I don't have
I
a
just
Ferrari.
really have to know. Like, how much money you got?
Probably $5 in my pocket. Not much more.
See, can anyone answer for the guy?
Why do they think I'm kidding? I have a family. I take care of an entire family.
Guys, notice something. Notice how Andrew, everyone shared their definition of what success is. Notice how Andrew shared his definition that went completely opposite of Wes's definition, and it instantly became a problem. Notice how when those gentlemen were speaking about what their definition of success is, Andrew didn't challenge them. Notice how Andrew let them finish what they were saying. Andrew didn't take offense to what they were saying. But notice how when Andrew gives his opinion on what he thinks success is, automatically Wes gets triggered. He automatically goes into trigger mode. So even though Andrew was not speaking against Wes, what he was speaking against was his ideology. And that's what Wes understood. He may not be specifically addressing me, but he's addressing my ideology. He's addressing my philosophy to life. He's addressing my life doctrine. And that's what offended him. But notice how his doctrine and his philosophy didn't offend Andrew. Andrew let him finish out his thoughts. Andrew let him finish out what it is he believed it is to be successful. But when Andrew started talking and his philosophy went against Wes's philosophy, Wes got defensive and he automatically, almost to the T, fired back.
That takes a lot
He's
of
doing
money.
all right. He's doing all right.
Okay.
It's okay.
This is the thing, you guys. If you ain't fit, you can't say it's not all about being in good shape.
Why not?
If you don't have money, you can't say it's not all about money.
Yeah, why
But
not?
if he does have money, he can say that.
Why not?
He
Why can't you say? Why must you have the thing before you? Hang on. Let me ask the question.
Because hypothetical is
Let me ask the
hypocritical.
question. Let me ask the question.
Hypothetical is hypocritical.
How do you even know what I was going to say before I've even been allowed
Because
to
I know
ask the
what you're
question?
gonna say.
Then what was I going to say?
You're gonna say why can't you ask the question?
Okay, so that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is, how in the world can you create a standard that it's inappropriate to ask somebody, how come if I don't have X thing, because I don't value X thing, does that mean X thing is actually valuable?
You've never experienced it, so you can't speak about
You
it.
think that I haven't experienced wealth? Even
I
poor
was
people,
asking if you did.
Even poor people experience days of wealth.
I was
They
asking
can-
if you
even
did.
poor
I don't know
people-
who you are.
But even poor people experience days of wealth. And so the thing is
No,
it's
definitely not. Definitely not.
Definitely
No,
so.
definitely not.
Definitely so.
I've lived the lowest lows and the highest highs.
Well, what's the distinction? After you make X amount, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you look at these studies done on this, it does not.
I don't fit no fucking studies,
It does not
bro.
hugely improve a person's life.
Are you proud of who the fuck
Bro,
you are?
why
Well,
don't
look
you
at,
even
are
let
you
me
proud?
get-
If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the fuck he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt.
All right. So Wes immediately starts attacking Andrew. He doesn't even attack the points that Andrew made. Now, we're all familiar with this kind of tactic. I don't know Wes personally, but I know when I make a point, if you don't address the point, if you don't attack the point that I'm standing on, if you take personal shots at me and you start to attack me personally, that's what women do. This is why men cannot win arguments with women, because women never stick to the topic. Women never stick to facts. They start to go with personal attacks. They start to go off on tangents that have nothing to do with the points you made. Coined, aka, they get into their feelings. So we see Wes here is in his feelings. He didn't attack the point that Andrew made when he said, studies show, Even if you make a lot of money, it only improves your success marginally. Instead of Wes attacking that point and saying, well, actually, that's not true. When I was poor, I wasn't happy. And when I started making a lot of money, I became very happy. And this is why. These are the reasons why making a lot of money made me so much more happy. He didn't attack his points. What did he do? He stood up and said, you look like trash. He started attacking the way he looks. This is the same thing women do. Women never stick to the points. They start to get personal. They start to call you names. They start to shame you. They start to call you gay. They start to call you broke. They start to call you ugly. And Wes is employing the same tactics. He is attacking the way he looks. He's attacking how much money he has. This is why he kept asking, do you have any money? Do you have any money? Wes's ideal of success is being fit, having money, having lots of material things at your fingertips and possessing them, and having a beautiful woman. That is his ideal in definition of success. And if you don't have these things, he doesn't consider you successful.
Because I've been.
Tell me you're fucking proud of
Because
yourself.
I've been to fucking prison.
Jesus Christ!
Because
look
I've been
at
to
you,
prison?
Bro. You got 10-inch arms and tits. Men don't have tits.
No,
guys.
they go to prison.
All right, so I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit because Andrew, in his defense, he starts to say some kind of vulgar stuff that I don't want on this channel about Wes being in prison. So I'm gonna which I understood why he did it, because Wes is attacking him personally, so Andrew is attacking him personally back. But I'm gonna fast forward a little bit past that part.
Boobs.
Yeah. Okay. Prison. But anyway, if you want,
Fuck yeah.
if you want to follow the successful mantra of a man who tells you he's reformed from prison, understand why they might have gone there to begin with. And
To take
yes,
care of a
I do think that a rejection of materialism is something missing in society, and I do think that true wealth is the family, and I think that true wealth is having a wife, and true wealth, that is what I think it is, and that is what I think truly success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. That's
then
what
when
I
you
think
go to the
success
beach
is.
with your family, they're like, "There's my stud dad right there, standing there."
Do you have
All right, so there's a lot more stuff that gets said on here, but we don't even. You just needed to have an ideal of who Wes Watson is, guys. Let me tell you this. You have to be really careful with who it is that you back. YouTube subscribers and likes. When you subscribe to a person's channel, when you put likes on their videos, that's like casting votes. You are voting for the person that you want to hear. As I said before, I used to watch Wes Watson videos back during COVID. Back then when he had very little subscribers. Back then when he didn't have money to pay $95,000 a month to live in a home. When he didn't have a Bugatti. When he didn't have a Phantom. When he didn't have all these material things that he's talking about on this podcast. The message of Wes Watson back then was completely different than what it is now. There was hardly any materialistic rhetoric going on his channel. Why? Because he was just starting out. He was just starting out. So the message was completely different. Guys, you have to be very careful who it is you back. Wes exposed himself and told on himself. He lied to you. If you know who Wes Watson was back during COVID, that is not the same Wes Watson that's on that stage. He looks the same. He's speaking the same as far as his tone, as far as dropping F-bombs. But that is not the same Wes Watson of COVID 2019, 2020 that you're seeing in 2024. Money changes people, guys. Let me tell you something. And in Wes's case, I don't think money changed him at all. I think the money just exposed him to be what he really is. And in my opinion, that's a hypocrite. In my opinion, Wes Watson is a hypocrite. Listen to all the things Wes said he believes makes a person successful. Being fit, having money, having materialistic things, and having a beautiful woman. Andrew Wilson was completely opposite of that ideology. Andrew Wilson said, well, Christ said this. Wes Watson completely rejected his ideology of what success is. But if you want to know what a hypocrite is, that's Wes Watson. Wes Watson himself has a tattoo of Jesus on his body. So the same principles that Jesus preached, Wes Watson doesn't even believe in. Jesus wasn't fit. If you go to the Bible, if you know the Bible, the book of Isaiah says Jesus was nothing to look at, meaning he was a common man. He wasn't rich. He wasn't ripped. He didn't have a whole bunch of material items, and he didn't have a beautiful woman. So the same type of men that Wes says are not successful for not having these things, he has that type of individual tattooed on his body, and he doesn't even believe in the doctrine and the principles that this individual that he got tattooed on his body preached. That is the definition of a hypocrite. That is the quintessential definition of a hypocrite. And for those who don't know what a hypocrite is, hypocrisy, this is the textbook definition. Hypocrisy is the practice of feigning to be what one is not, or to believe what one does not. Wes Watson speaks what's in his heart, but Wes Watson lives a completely different reality. Wes Watson, when he was starting his channel, he was basically, guys, Wes went to jail for selling drugs. He fooled you into thinking he was reformed in his mind. But the same thing that sent him to jail the first time, the love of money and material things, he still has that same mentality. He just found a new drug to sell you called hope and bullshit. He sold hope and bullshit. He don't stand for anything that he said he believed in. When they say money changes people, money embellishes and brings out what a person truly is. We can only be what we are, what we're allowed to be, according to our options. If you really want to see what a person is, if you really want to see the type of individual you're dealing with, give that person power, give that person money, and give that person influence. The more options you give a person, the more power you give a person, that you're going to see who that person is by the decisions they make and by the things that they do. So Wes Watson is just showing you who he really is. Back when he was starting his channel, he wasn't able to do that because he didn't have the options that he has now. He doesn't have the money that he has now, and he didn't have the power, the AKA influence. Now that he's got all three, you're just seeing who he really is. He tricked you into thinking he was reformed, but he's not reformed. The same things that he lusted for before he went to prison is the same things he's lusting after now. So when he says being rare is having no vice, Wes Watson has a vice. His vice is money. That's his vice. Money is his vice. What does the Bible say about money? Money is the root of all evil. This is why he can stand up there and dress down a man's physical appearance, dress down a man's lack of money, call him names, because that is his vice. He says if you're not ripped, everybody can't get ripped. Everybody's genetics is different. Now look, everybody can get into decent shape. Everybody can get into decent shape. Someone tell you they can't get into decent shape, or they're lying to you. But if anyone tells you that if you work out this way or have this diet, you can look like Michael Hearn, that is a damn lie. Michael Hearn has great genetics. Outside of anything else that he's taken to get that body, he's got great genetics. And no matter how hard you work in the gym, and no matter what you do with your diet, your physique is not going to look like his. But you can get a damn good physique if you got the discipline. So Wes, according to your own definition, you're not rare because you have a vice and you got more than one. But the obvious one is money. The second one is pride. Might I add, maybe greed too. You may be greedy. That part I don't know. But definitely money and definitely pride. So Vice, Wes, you don't even live up to your own standard of what being a successful person is. So if you have no respect for someone who's not successful, why did you go and get a tattoo of Jesus on your body? Jesus wasn't ripped. Jesus wasn't rich. Jesus didn't have beautiful women. He didn't have any of the things that you said you constituted as a man being successful. But yet you got this man on your body. You sound like a hypocrite, Wes. You sound like a real hypocrite. That's what you sound like. And you sound like it because that's what you are. Wes Watson finessed you guys. He finessed millions and millions of people into believing that he was reformed, into believing that he was changed. Let me tell you something, guys. Give a man limited options and you'll see a minimized version of that man. Give a man a plethora of options and you're going to see the maximized version of that man. When the Bible says money is the root of all evil, is that in order to attain money, men will do evil things. Like pretend to be something they're not. Be a hypocrite. Sell drugs. Rob a bank. It's the things that men do to get that money. And then once they get it, it's the things that these men do to keep that money. And then it's the things men make others do who they know want that money, aka Puff Daddy. So guys, you got to be very careful who it is you follow. You got to be very careful who it is you back. Because a lot of these guys on YouTube are nothing but hypocrites. And they are selling you a version of themselves that they don't live. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comments below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you used to watch Wes Watson, if you were subscribed to his channel. I used to be back during COVID because I work out. And I thought he had a great message as far as working out. And he did motivate people. But guys, I never sent this guy money. I never reached out to him outside of YouTube or any of that stuff. What is in a person's heart will always come out of their mouth. And if you want to see who a person really is, give them money and give them alcohol. And you'll see exactly who they are.
I rest my case.